on his show last night, Tucker Carlson made a shocking statement. I call it shocking. Shocking, at least if you're utterly oblivious and naive. But either way, this is what he said.
The war on terror, now ongoing for 20 years, has pivoted in its aims. The war on terror is now being waged against American citizens, opponents of the regime. We saw this on display on January 6th. We told you a couple of weeks ago, based on language in publicly available indictments, that the FBI clearly had foreknowledge of the riot at the Capitol that day. And the agents we spoke to this weekend confirmed that is true. Quote, the FBI had sources in that crowd, confidential sources, snitches. That's 100% certain. But it's not just political protesters the government is spying on. Yesterday, we heard from a whistleblower within the U.S. government who reached out to warn us that the NSA, the National Security Agency, is monitoring our electronic communications and is planning to leak them in an attempt to take the show off the air. Now, that's a shocking claim, and ordinarily we'd be skeptical of it. It's illegal for the NSA to spy on American citizens. It's a crime. It's not a third world country. Things like that should not happen in America. But unfortunately, they do happen, and in this case, they did happen. The whistleblower, who is in a position to know, repeated back to us information about a story that we are working on that could have only come directly from my texts and emails. There's no other possible source for that information, period. The NSA captured that information without our knowledge and did it for political reasons. The Biden administration is spying on us. We have confirmed that.
Now, so I think what you hear, there are going to be two strategies from the left in responding to these claims. There already has been. And it's really one and then the other. The first is to just deny it and say, there's no way this is true. Our intelligence agencies would never do such a thing. These are benevolent. Our intelligence agencies are benevolent and kind. Even though we know that the NSA spies on American citizens, that's been confirmed. We already know that. They would never do that. This is absurd. Even some so-called conservatives, Jonah Goldberg among them, came out immediately after this segment aired and say, no way, didn't happen, can't be true. Not the NSA I know. Come on. I've known this NSA. These are good people. They would never do such a thing. So that's the first strategy, is to accuse Tucker Carlson of making this up, this whole story, making it up out of thin air. But then when more evidence is presented that even they can't deny, they're going to immediately switch course and say, okay, they're spying on him, but I'm glad they are because he's a terrorist. You're kind of seeing a little bit of both right now, doing the whole thing that this isn't true, but even if it was, it would be fine. But you'll see the stark change in course eventually. When it becomes undeniable that this is actually happening, did happen, that's when they'll say, yeah, I'm glad it did. And the left is moving to that more and more of embracing a display of power like this. This is one of the reasons why, as we always talk about, pointing out the hypocrisy of the left doesn't really accomplish much, because the hypocrisy is the point. It's all about power. And they have the power in the culture, so they're allowed to have one standard for themselves and another standard for you. And when you point out the hypocrisy, their answer in so many words is, yeah, thanks for noticing. You're right. That's exactly right. We're in control. You aren't. Do what we said because we said so. Do as we say, not as we do. It's a power move. And eventually you'll see the same thing with this kind of thing. Yeah, you're damn right. You get up there saying things we don't like night after night. You have the gall to do that. You're the most successful cable news show on TV by a mile. We can't allow that to happen. we're going to use all the tools at our disposal to take you down. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.